Is Demon Slayer worth watching? Well, let's talk about it. Ever since the death of his father, the burden of supporting the family has fallen upon Tanjiro Kamado's shoulders. Though living impoverished on a remote mountain, the Kamado family are able to enjoy a relatively peaceful and happy life. One day, Tanjiro decides to go down to the local village to make a little money selling charcoal. On his way back, night falls, forcing Tandra to take shelter in the house of a strange man who warns him of the existence of flesh-eating demons that lurk in the woods at night. When he finally arrives back home the next day, he is met with a horrifying sight. His whole family has been slaughtered. Worse still, the sole survivor is his sister Nezuko, who has been turned into a bloodthirsty demon. Consumed by rage and hatred, Tanjiro swears to avenge his family and stay by his only remaining sibling. Alongside the mysterious group calling themselves the Demon Slayer Corps, Tanjiro will do whatever it takes to slay the demons and protect the remnants of his beloved sister's humanity. So, given 3 seasons of Demon Slayer now that the third season has wrapped up and the fourth season is underway, let's go ahead and talk about this show and see if it's worth your time. First off, you gotta comment on the animation. This is one of the best looking shows. It came out in 2019, and the studio behind it is, of course, Ufotable. It's really tough to beat Ufotable. I know them from Fate Zero. That's probably my favorite Ufotable anime out there. They just keep hitting every time they produce something. But honestly, once you hit the 2020s, I feel like every show coming out these days is looking really good. So keep that in mind. Tanjiro is going to be your moneymaker here. He is a fantastic main character. Some people do think he's more vanilla. He doesn't have too much to offer, but I think he's just a really strong main character that you can get invested in and root for. That first episode where his family gets slaughtered really sets the tone and really makes you feel for him, and he just keeps going. He has that Naruto empathy for the demons, kind of like Naruto in the Fox. He feels for his enemies that he's putting down, and that does get developed upon throughout the series, especially in season 3. You can see how he's getting a little bit more angry. He's crossing the line a little bit more. If you mess with his sister, you mess with me. But I think his main thrust, his main focus is still the same. He wants to turn Nezuko back from being a demon, and he does want to avenge his family as well as protect everyone close to him. So just a really strong, multi-layered main character, a good modern shonen main character. So not too many qualms with Tondro, but that also might be people's knock, is there's not much more than that. He does have layers, but it doesn't go any deeper than that. As far as the main villain, you got Muzan, the Michael Jackson of anime, according to Socksword, absolutely. So I feel like in the first season, Muzan really has a strong presence. When he is on screen, you're like, okay, what is going on here? I'm fearing this guy. I don't know what he's gonna do. It pans to him and his group of demons, and he just shish kebabs like 2 or 3 of them because they're not good enough, really setting the tone, and you're like, okay, we are not messing with him. Season 2, he's kind of in the background, as well as season 3. Towards the end of season 3, we're starting to get a little bit more of him. We got a little bit of his backstory, and it wasn't as thought-provoking as I thought it would be. It was much more simple, but we're gonna have to wait for season 4 to see what Muzan does in response to everything that's happened. But he's a solid villain. Could he be better? Absolutely, but I also think he could be much worse. And on top of that, he gets his higher up demons under him, and they're pretty formidable as well. And that makes me think of stakes in the show. Are there a lot of stakes? I think of Attack on Titan. I think of Akame ga Kill, if you want one that went maybe too far as stakes are concerned. Naruto. I love it when character deaths really push the benchmark for what the show can do, and Demon Slayer has flirted with it. There has been a little bit of stakes if you've seen the movie, but overall not too much loss other than that first episode where Tanjiro loses his entire family. A lot of these characters do have tragic backstories, which helps me get invested into them very quickly. But overall, as far as main characters or side characters going down in the process and all of these fights over the first 3 seasons, not too many stakes. So maybe season 4 can introduce more of that and really cash in on everything the show has set up. So I keep mentioning the tone, and I feel when Demon Slayer is on point, it's when it's really driving home the first maybe 10 episodes of the series, where it's dark, it's gritty, it's Tanjiro has lost everything, and he is just scraping by, trying to figure out what to do. He runs into the Demon Corpse, the Hashira, and he's trying to get a game plan going on how he can save his sister, get her back from being a demon, get her back to a human if that's possible, as well as keep everybody safe and avenge the family members that he lost. So that I feel like is the best time in the show, is when they're really focusing in on that. And this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but when it comes to the main trifecta with Zenitsu and Inosuke with Tanjiro, I really feel like Tanjiro just shines, and I just cannot stand Zenitsu. He is a walking antic. Tanjiro. Like, it's just a headache every time he's on screen. On top of that, the animation completely drops to open the door for his antics. If you've seen March Comes In Like a Lion, it's the same thing. I guess people call it hijinks as well. It just doesn't fit the dark theme that the show has set up overall. I don't mind a little alleviation here and there from the dark themes, you know, give us a breath of fresh air, get some laughs in there, that's fine. But the first season especially, Zenitsu has no chain, he has no leash, it is free reign. The moment he comes into the show, it's an antic for 2 minutes about him wanting to marry a random girl that Tanjiro is talking to while he's walking to the forest. It's just ridiculous. The best time with Zenitsu is when he's asleep going God mode. So it's very jarring. Now, Inosuke, not as bad. The boar mask, you kind of get used to it. You get the whole pretty boy under the mask, and that's not too bad. He is voiced by Pappenbrook if you watch it dubbed, so depending on how you feel about Aaron from Titan's voice actor, that can go either way. But I think Inosuke does get a little bit better throughout. But each of them, you know, there's a random grab bag of powers whenever they're about to lose against a main villain. And you can put this more on Shonen than just Demon Slayer, but Tanjiro just upgrades into a sun god like Zenitsu. Zenitsu's probably the least grab bag because it does make it pretty clear that he just pops off with the electricity jutsu, if you will. And then Inosuke, literally in the second season, he can just move his heart. Is he a boar? Is he a man? Or is he something in between? I don't know. I feel like the power levels go up and down throughout the show, so that might be a small nitpick, but I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about that. The Hashira, some of them are very cool. Some of them we haven't got too much time with. Rengoku was pretty darn awesome in the movie. I also like Tomika or Tomioka. There you go. The first Hashira that you see with Tanjiro throughout. We've kind of hit on the villains. Some villains are really formidable, while others are more laughable, and that's kind of just how it goes. So as you can see, there is a lot of good. There is a lot to like about Demon Slayer. The animation, the soundtrack, the fight scenes, a lot of characters like Tanjiro you can really get invested in and really want to see where that story progresses. The end of season 3 was a little bit jarring with some things that happened with Nezuko. There were some really heartfelt scenes, and you were there. The Mist Hashira, Muichiro was really good. Genya getting in there, but that also raises questions. Like, think about Genya. Why is he a demon? Is he a demon? Is he not? Where did this power come from? What about this power? Okay, Nezuko can't go in the sun. Oh, hold the script. Like, here we go. It's very back and forth. It's very jarring in certain areas, but we do know the animation is absolutely fantastic. We do know Tanjiro is a character you can really get behind, and a lot of people do like Zenitsu and Inosuke, so I think I'm in the minority there. I really like Nezuko. We do have some decent female characters spread out through the cast here, and I really do like Nezuko, as she's probably the best female character in the show. So a lot going on there. Do I think Demon Slayer is worth watching? Yes, if for nothing more, for you to scope it out and to see, is this more style over substance? Does this look really good? But is it also good? Does it have characters that you care about, that you get invested in? Do you want to see more? And I think the first half of the first season really got me invested. I think once Zenitsu got in, I really wasn't there as much in the second half of the second season. I'm sorry, the first season. But really, anything with Muzan in the first season, I was like, okay, hold on, here we go. We're getting ready. And that kind of bled into the movie for me. The second season was okay. We got a different Hashira. We had some really silly antics, but the fight scenes were pretty decent. It's really cool to see Inosuke and Tanjiro going back to back. And then the third season, believe it or not, was actually my favorite because we didn't get any Zenitsu or Inosuke. So it's kind of all over the place. I'm interested to see what the fourth season has to offer. But as far as this video goes, I will just call it there. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And I will catch you on the flip. Peace.